Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. I think that should be working properly now. Welcome along. I can see Ravi, John, and Jason. So great to have you in for your respective evenings and mornings. I hope it's been a good week for everyone. I think we'll just head straight across to Newlands. A small plug if you're interested in the conversation we were having last time about the standard game and feeding cows, then I've done a little video testing which I've posted. The link should be in the description for this, which just has a look at mineral feed versus TMR and gathers a little bit of data. So if you're interested, you can have a look at that at your leisure. But let's head across here where I've just got the mower out because this little patch of grass needs mowing, and then we can pick it up at our leisure. And yes, John, I am aware you're in the UK. Ravi is also in Europe, in Romania, if I recall correctly. So you folks most certainly are enjoying your evenings. Whereas Jason is here in Australia, albeit good 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometers from here, up in Brisbane, I'm guessing. So this will only take a second to get this grass off here. We can turn that off. So the little cow feed video that I did was a little more involved than I intended. Consequently, it took longer and the finished product runs longer. The data's all there, but I was aiming for it to get to the crux of it a little bit faster. But I think, like so many things, when I sit down to test it, end up trying to include all the cases that seem relevant, and then by the time you process it all and explain what you've done, time gets away. But I think the data is pretty conclusive. Was it helpful, John? Well, that was what I was trying to satisfy myself with, because I'd watched the videos that Cranky was relying on, and they were interesting, but my kind of past life tester's hat looked at it and said, well, actually there's a difference they've found, but I don't think they've proved what they think they've proved, because their conditions aren't constant, or aren't baseline. So and also they were done in December a year ago, when the game still had a whole lot of bugs and wrinkles in it, given what we know now. So it was something that just the conversation that we had in the stream last time sort of piqued my interest as to, oh, now I'm keen to know, does it or doesn't make a difference? And, you know, has my assumption on how it worked, which was just based on an limited understanding of the underlying technology, is that accurate or not? And I just felt I needed to do the test to have an answer to that question. Now, what's happened here? Why is that not folded up properly? That has folded, and G, that has folded, right. Okay, so that's the lawn mode. I think in terms of base gain cows for me now, and this is what I was doing on Griffin anyway. So in the Griffin series, Kevin puts a little mineral feed in the feed for the milk cows, but is only feeding hay to the beef cows, so grain-fed pasture cow, not grain-fed, grass-fed beef is what he's going for. So it just means that I can be comfortable that a dash of mineral feed satisfies my realism gene when I'm mixing a batch, but I don't need to. There's absolutely no value in going overboard, so that's all good. Has anyone in chat been up to anything interesting this past week? We will get on with our corn harvest. I conveniently purchased a header which we couldn't afford last time, and that again took us just under the... Oh, very nice. Thank you, John. That's much appreciated. I'm not sufficiently skilled and experienced with YouTube stats to know or to have much perspective on what people watch and when. Like I know a few basic things, but it's always nice. That's kind of why the catalogue's there. I think it's nice for people to, if they're interested, to go back and catch up on the story. So the plan with the corn, we need, corn's going to form two components in our pig food. So if we have a quick quiz at our little pig food cheat sheet, we can feed the pigs corn grain grist, which means we need to put it into the mill we bought and grind it up, but it also, we can feed them straight corn instead of the beet pulp. And given we don't have the sugar mill yet to produce the beet pulp, we'll do that. So 60% of their food can come from the corn. So we need to certainly do at least 2/3 of this corn grist. If I have a look at the corn grist mill, I don't believe it accelerates any of our... There it is. Corn grist. Right, so what we put in is what we get out. So we want to be putting at least 2/3 of the output off this field into the corn grist mill, because this is the biggest replacement Corn grist is the largest component and reason we've been buying pig food, so we want it to go as far as possible. I'm pretty sure we're not going to get enough corn off this field to feed our pigs for the whole year, but the further we get, the better it is. And then for next year, we'll hopefully have another field with corn in it. At least all of that's the plan. And in terms of today's episode, we'll just look to get the corn off here, and then we'll roll over into November when, with any luck, we'll be able to look at the sugar beet. Well, a busy day getting our product out of the ground is planned. Welcome along. Somebody popped in. Good to see you. Be pretty sure Jason's getting himself organised for work. Some folks may even be at work. Ah, okay, Jason. Well, that's good. Thank you. We'll get to another Silver Run episode either today or tomorrow. Had a few things distracting me here, but life gets in the way. There are many chores around the house. I've got to find a leak that has appeared above my daughter's old room, which is always a bit annoying. Ah, school runs. Yes, everybody's back at school here in Australia. And that's going to be pretty much what she wrote. So somewhere over there, I put a trailer with a bin on it. Yep, I left a stripe of grass there where I obviously didn't have the front mower down in time. Right. That's a bit better. So I'm thinking we'll certainly take the first couple of loads straight up to the grist mill because it's where we require it. Would you be able to add episode numbers to the thumbnail? For Griffin? They're on the thumbnail. They're in... Oh, they mightn't... They're not in the same format. They're in white print down the bottom. I think. Pretty sure. Let me just check. I thought because I know that used to annoy me, I was sure I had. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to go there to So they're in the center of the bottom of the, can I show one easily? When you look at the library page, you can't see them. Well, if I go to, let me just pull one up. Here's the latest one. Oh, stop. And bring you across there and go to, oh, that doesn't work. Let's try going backwards. Go to the library page. Playlists, that's what I want. Playlists for Griffin. Ah, okay. Let's have a look here. So this is the playlist for Griffin. And I guess if you're looking at it on a phone, it's hard to see, but that's the, so maybe I need to change the way I represent it, but it's showing there in the bottom and on the side. And let's have a look while we're at it, just to make sure it's not me that's making it hard for you. Go back to Silver Run. And Silver Run, they're up in the top right corner. Now, it's possible, because I only ever look at them on here. Perhaps I should have a look at them on phone. It's possible that the phone clips them off, but that was part of why I put the tag in the description as well. So that's what I was hoping for. Let's zip you back over there and move you back over here. Yeah. And I just got to get my screens organized here so I can actually see what's going on. Right. I certainly understand the confusion. I have that from time to time with other folks that I watch. That sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, and then you miss out on a couple and you don't want to jump ahead. I want to go and see the one that I'm up to. And some sites it's a bit hard to find them, so I know how frustrating that is, and I really have been trying to not do that to you guys. There's so many things that I have to learn and get better at. At least I can produce thumbnails faster now. It doesn't mean they're any better, but the first few I did, God, I was sitting there staring at the screen for an hour just trying to produce a thumbnail. It's like, this is ridiculous. What I'm not very good at doing with thumbnails is when I'm in the situation, either making the video or, you know, doing something in my own play, is recognizing that, oh, gee, that setup would make a good thumbnail. Let's just grab the pic now while we're at it. G'day, Tanner. Welcome along. Great to see you. I am going to, so last week, Monday morning your time was is the regular time slot. So that might make it a bit hard for you, John. But yes, we did one for this week and there'll be one for next week. I am very much enjoying the Oaks. Oh, that's good to know. Okay. Well, so maybe I should look for I shouldn't put it in the corners. Jason, that's really helpful. Thank you. I will try and find a better spot in the video to put the number, particularly if it's like that, it's small. That's really helpful feedback. Yes, I'm very much enjoying the Oaks, as I'm enjoying it on here. You know, it's different. I'm really pleased that we went with Maize Plus on here. That's helping a lot. But yes, we'll be back on the Oaks on Monday. We've finished that. I finished off that ploughing contract. Tomorrow will get challenging with Upper Mississippi, right? Sorry, because I haven't seen that map before. I don't have the same level of excitement or anticipation for it. To me, it's a new map, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm looking forward to see others play it. That will be no doubt entertaining. And when I have seen it, maybe I'll have an idea for a future storyline, or maybe I won't. But I'm thinking the Oaks is going to provide, because the fields are so big and the scenario we've set is going to provide some entertainment for a while, because it's going to be a bit of a grind. We really need to increase the priority on a new tractor on there, and so I'm hoping we can get some of the grass off and into the bunkers, and in the next couple of streams get some cash coming in the door that will time that with a suitable tractor coming up in the sale. What other DJ modding maps might I recognize? Because the name doesn't, probably should, but it doesn't trigger for me. So it's Green Valley, one of his. Okay. I only did a little bit on Green Valley on multiplayer, actually. Okay, let's get back in the Harvey store. Argsy had a multiplayer server up, which was whoops, what am I doing here? Which was a fun experience, because at that stage I hadn't used multiplayer at all. Go. But my experience of Green Valley was that I reckon I've spent probably 10 hours on there, and it either rained or snowed for 9.5 of them. and because it was a multiplayer server and the times I was kind of available to log on, there was almost no one around, so that kind of defeated the purpose of multiplayer for the most part. And with its got some pretty large fields and big distances between things, and that combined with a bit of lag, it was all just hard. It looked like it was really nicely done. It was just hard. It wasn't actually fun for me to play at all. But I could easily see how you could get a group of friends together and have a really good time on it. But what struck me was, like, after playing, you know, at that stage I had, you know, a couple of thousand hours up in FS22, and it actually struck me how miserable it was playing in the rain and the snow and the gloom all the time. It was quite interesting. Yeah, that world map is pretty good. He was struggling I don't know if he's had a chance over the summer holidays. He was worried that he was struggling to keep it up to date, Jason. He was actually looking for someone that could put in some time to help him with it. I like the concept, Tanner, of being on multiplayer. So the idea of, you know, doing something in a team with someone else, that sounds like great fun. What I struggle with, so the lag is a little bit annoying. Jason Rowe, welcome along. Good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. The lag, my fine motor skills aren't terrific, which has got nothing to do with the game, but in a lag situation, I find it particularly frustrating when I can't get the equipment to do quite what I want. And so, you know, it's hard enough, I find it difficult enough to plow a straight line in the field, let alone, you know, losing a little bit every now and then because the machine wanders on a lag spot. I believe everyone is going pretty well in here today, Jason. Certainly the check-ins have been positive, so that's always good news. As you can see, we're working on the cornfields, which will be, well, we'll see how far it feeds the pigs in the coming year. About the only thing I know about it is it won't be far enough, but we have to start somewhere. I'm thinking we need about triple this size of cornfield ultimately to deal with our kind of standing population of 200 pigs, and that will then give us enough to forage a bit. Yes, it is cool down here this morning, hence that I'm in a jumper and a long sleeve shirt. This has been the weirdest summer for a while. The weather hasn't been terrible, it's just not had the hot days. It's still been quite dry. We've had a couple of showers, but January was still pretty dry. The garden needed a little bit of water. it just hasn't been particularly hot. You know, maybe we've gotten to a 36 or a 37. We've had nothing over 40. I can't remember the last 40-degree day. And certainly not the, 5 in a row streak that we would expect to get one or two of at this time of the year. So quite odd. What's happening with the coffee? That's going to do us. Let's pull out of there. Pleased with myself. I actually remembered to look down at the gauge. This one will probably top off the trailer. Oh, we can turn that way. Around that bale, which I must do something with. Probably just pop that grass straight in the thing that makes the compost over at the garden centre. Right, you. So, how much of this? Oh, you'll take all of that. We've got a couple of headlands, so we can probably get the harvester just back on a regular worker on that angle. Might work for us. We'll see how we go. Right. What you done? Let's pull you out of there. So we'll turn you around, and then we can start you off. No point paying the guy to turn around the piece of equipment while I'm in the chair. Might not be enough headland, we'll see. Invariably it'll ride on the crop. Let's get the angle we want. It's about 270, will do lovely. So let's go up to the mill. This will be the first product we've put in the grist mill. Last season, for those that were with us, we made corn grain grist using a trailed implement, the Stade mobile mill. Which worked fine. It was just fiddly and lower capacity. Yeah, we're not playing now, Tito. The dog's come in and decided that I should be doing something that involves him. Which is always quite entertaining because he use this nose to bump my mouse hand. Sort of say, hey, this is about me. Now, is that not having dropped here? Let's turn the triggers on. Let's not try and guess. I have figured out the I have figured out the variable name for this field. Now I just need to understand how to call it by pressing a button in a script file. Oh, it's around this side. So Mark Haythornwaite very helpfully pointed me at another Giants tool that I hadn't used, which is for what's a debugger of sorts. And that, like everything, wasn't terribly well documented, but it was helpful once I got the hang of it. No, you're not. Am I not getting a tip trigger? That's very bizarre. Cannot tip on the ground here. It doesn't want to. I can tip on the ground there, but I don't want to. That's where it looks like that box is marked out. There was a load trigger on the other side. So the tip trigger looks like it's there. There's a tip trigger for the... Oh, there is another tip trigger around here. Well spotted. I've got a little pile of corn to clean up. This trailer's a little bit heavy for this tractor. Probably doesn't help that got the narrow is on. Okay, that's not looking good. See, that's a low. I wonder. Okay, we haven't used this mod before, so there's every chance. That's not a tip trigger there. It does take corn, straight corn. I don't have to do anything with it, do I? No, straight corn. Well, this might require an investigation. Let's just try the... So there is definitely looks like there's supposed to be one behind and one on the other side. Let's just try something else. Let's just... Maybe there's an issue with the trailer, but it didn't look like there was. We want a tractor with a front loader. We always have a voyage of discovery on this stream. What is it about how we're doing it? Oh, that one. I also made an error between streams, so that little dolly, Junkari dolly came up in the sale, and I thought, oh, that'd be good because the two-wheeled IT runner back dolly that we had was leased, so I cancelled the lease and bought that before I realized that it's not an IT runner. It doesn't pick up hooked components, so I messed that up. Oh, there was some on the floor around there. Let's just clean that up first. So if there's a tip trigger here, it's just in front. But it's not giving any indication that there is. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to have some work to do. I don't believe this mod has any errors loading in. Well, I'm waiting for your insight, Jason, because this one's got all the hallmarks at the minute of a broken mod. I've got two different implements that I know generally work, or at least have worked everywhere else. See, I can fill from that trigger, but I can't tip there. Yeah, no, it's almost like the trigger isn't defined to take corn. Oh, no. I moved out of the trigger and it just drops it on the ground. So there's definitely a trigger defined there. You can see the edge. No, we saw it before when I turned the debug mode on, so... Yeah, that's going to be awkward to pick up. Yeah, well, this is just a revised grain mill of sorts, I think. That's been set up to work with Maize Plus, and for some reason it is not. And if we have a look in the log, I'm pretty sure loaded production grist mill. There's no errors. That's an AI attachment for something. It's just a warning anyway. I'm pretty sure there's no red errors in there. That all looks remarkably clean, so... Right, well... that looks like a problem for solving between streams. It's just all fill types. Page up key. Page up and page down. Allow you to move through the log in game. And as you saw, it will zoom you in if you're not zoomed right in. No, everything looks hunky-dory there. Ignoring this definition, what's that? Duplicate entry. Oh, that's for the 4940 anyway. No. Okay. Dead horse, no flogging today. So what we will do is park you over here out of the way. We don't hit the tub with the front of the front loader. There's no point taking the trailer back down. What we need is the big trailer. Didn't do that very cleverly, did I? Let's swip you down. So we'll get 40, somewhere between 30 and 40 meters of corn in here. So that'll be enough to get a fair bit done. Not surprisingly, our harvester's sitting there patiently. Hope our driver's not smoking in the middle of the cornfield. Righty ho. Turn you off. I did manage to make a pre-announced spoiler alert for Monday's Oaks episode. A little bit of progress on a mod that I was changing to fit. So now my workers on the Oaks are John, Paul, George, Ringo, Penny, Michelle, and Jude. Michelle and Jude being friends of Penny's. So the game doesn't use the names in very many situations, but nonetheless that's what they are. Oh, get out of it. Hold down. There we go. Get rid of that stripe while we're looking at it, because otherwise it's just going to be annoying. I think it's important. It makes it more fun when the characters have a backstory, John. Just another way to get immersed. Yeah, it's on ModHub. It came out quite early on, so I suspect it was a redo of an FS19 mod. The modder is Apuri, A-P-U-E-H-R-Y, I think, R-I. And it allows you to have between 6 and 20 workers, and as long as you've got the same number of male and female, it gives you a little screen where you can set your own, set their name, and you can modify the costs a little bit, although it's a little confusing how that works. Turn that on there. Actually, yes, we do. So I tried to modify it to tailor it even further to what I want, and without writing quite an extensive bit of code to sit in the middle, I couldn't figure out how to get it to work easily with just the 5 characters that I wanted to have. So hence we've got the 8, and I've turned off a couple of features. It'll also it's got a setting that'll automatically ride horses if you've got horses in your save. And what else does it? It does something else. My memory escapes me at the minute. It also works for multiplayer, which I turned off. As it is not required. Okay, we don't need to. What we can do is we don't need to move. Might as well take you off there, because you're not going to be able to move that when we're full of corn anyway. And do we have a windrow? I can't remember if we bought one or not. Or whether we just had one leased and I may have returned it. I'm not seeing one over there. In fact, it looks like we sent back the tedder as well. Yes. Got a bit of cash in the bank. What's in the sales? Are we lucky? Nothing we really want, basically. Let us see. Windrose. Oh, Fortrit. Oh, that's the Hey Scooter, welcome along. Great to have you in. I reckon we just got by this guy. That kind of feels like our speed. So let's send you to the vehicle buy sell. You can go pick up the windrower. I'm not taking trees out of there for the minute. We are doing a bunch of things, Scooter. One of them is harvesting corn over here in the background, which we're just trying to get off so that we can roll the day forward. We might as well go back to driving that corn harvester ourselves. Mind you, don't get slapped in the face with the corn. Yeah, so we'll get the corn off. I will solve how to put it into the mill between episodes because I can't think why that's not working properly. It's good for your benefit. When we went to drop it at the drop point for the grist mill, we couldn't find one. We can't find any way of getting corn into the grist mill. And given we haven't delivered anything else there, we haven't had that working as yet, so that's a bit of a bugger. Hopeful for next harvest season that if we've managed to get another field of corn, we'll be able to get a second one of these harvesters. I'm kind of looking forward to the point where we've got 2 of these working on the field. I reckon that'll be pretty cool. Might as well empty you out before we go back. No worries, Jason. Good luck with the school run. Not that luck should be involved or required. There's a possibility it's something to do with build types, Scooter. I haven't looked at the, because it was a mod that sort of came in the pack. I just assumed it would work, and I didn't feel the need to do any changes to it. It loaded successfully, so I haven't looked at the XML. My guess is it'll be a fill types thing on the trigger, because when you look in the debugger view, the triggers are, there's definitely a trigger there. It's just what it's defined to accept. So and the bit that's just a bit strange is, you know, given that corn grist is one of the fundamental things of Maize Plus, I just would have expected it would be fine. And it could be as simple as it's got maize but not corn. Anyway, I will get to the bottom of it, and it will be working for Tuesday. Oh, well, yeah, okay, cool. It certainly references corn in the recipes, so we jump in corn grain grist. So I don't know, something is, it'll be something simple like that will be the problem. Yeah, I understand. Okay, let's try not to fall off the edge here. We might cut another little bit of a headland here, given we're rather a long combine, long and skinny. Oh, very good. Do you have any exotic ingredients in your horse food? Ah, okay. When we buy the sugar mill on here shortly, which is kind of in the nearish term, because we're going to get a whole bunch of sugar beet off the field next month, it produces molasses as a byproduct, so we'll be putting molasses in our cow food. So the chains are starting to come together. The other thing that the sugar mill will give us is the beet pulp. I can imagine that'd be quite a cool thing. Never had much interaction with farm animals, just domestic dogs really. I've seen the odd bull and, you know, being in a cow shed at milking time and that sort of thing. And plenty of sheep at a distance. Okay, so we're gonna get to the end. Maybe not. Those bearings do not sound good when you wind it out. Oh. And the brakes are very soft. Long brake pedal, as I would say. If anyone has any suggestions, feel free to note them in the comments. Comments would be easier for me than the chat, but I'm looking to build up a bit of a repository list of interesting random events. That affect farm life. I've got a bit of an idea that I want to play out in the future. So for instance, you know, you get up on harvest day and it's raining, and it's not just the rain that the game schedules, but you lose, you know, you out of your harvest window. Oh, that'd be very helpful, John. Thank you. You know, you get a call from the bank manager and they've decided to call part of your loan, so you've got to, you know, suddenly come up with some cash. Piece of equipment randomly breaks down. The grist mill is what am I looking for here? Oh, let's go to the correct screen. Corn grist mill mod, or just grist mill mod. And the one we placed was grist mill with selling station. If I, oops, off there. It's on ModHub, I'm pretty sure. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, goodness. Scroll very inaccurately. Factories. Giants are the only software company I know that puts lists of things on their website, not in alphabetical order. Bizarre. It's not the Grain Mill Plus. It is Grist Mill. This one. By Togram. Oh no. Is that the one? Maybe it's not the Togram one. I should look at it in a different way. Yeah, absolutely. It's supposed to work. It's got to be something to do with the trigger. That's the conclusion that I have reached based on what we were doing just before. What was I just trying to do? I was wanting to go there and there. And somewhere down here, portrait. Yeah, so it is the gristmill mod from Togram that we've got. So that's the one right there. There's no questions that it's supposed to do what we're using it for. It's just a matter of it's just not taking the grain in. So something bizarre is happening, which I will get to the bottom of. It could be some sort of weird duplicate thing with this map too. That's not beyond the realm of possibilities. But never mind, we've got plenty of work to go on with. Let's keep harvesting. And if one of you guys comes up with a solution, that would be wonderful. Let's zip around the edge one more time. Just out of curiosity, where are you guys up to in viewing the stream? Because I'm cutting corn, but the reason I ask is OBS is showing me what I'm doing, and that looks all correct. But the little window that I get back from YouTube is very confused. And it's gone very quiet. So I don't know if that's all because you're absorbed trying to solve the problem, or whether the stream is bugged out on me. The strange thing is it's all saying that it's in the green, but I'm not sure that I believe it. The lack of a response. Oh no. Okay, so you're there, Scooter. Okay, that's good. It's just that sometimes it's really hard to tell, especially as I said, I noticed this screen's a little bit out of sync. Getting distracted is what it's all about. Let's go and empty this load out. Tried grist mill, it takes corn in the side with the chimney and the cover over the input, and it works. Okay. Excellent. What were you tipping out of, John? If you don't mind my asking. Just wondering if the tip height of the trailer is an issue, but that's why I went with the front loader. Okay, so the side with that chimney, that's this side, right? I don't have to open that cover, do I? I do have to, that's the problem. Goodness me. Noob failing. That's the bad. Yeah, it's going in fine now. The cover was shut. You got enough weight to move that trailer? I'm not sure. Okay, problem solved. New noob operator at the controls. Works every time. Round the corner. There you go. Foot to the firewall in reverse. Hope you're not in a rush to get there. Ah, that's interesting. And there we go, we get a trigger up. Isn't that amazing? It works perfectly when you use it properly. Funny, I looked at the covers there and incorrectly assumed they were just like a decorative feature. Never occurred to me to actually get out and open them. Righto. Well, that's progress. Thank you, team. Got us out of a bind and saved me a fruitless search for a bug that wasn't there. Teamwork comes to the fore again. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, good timing. Yes, John, you take the gold elephant stamp for today. Thank you. Really hard from that angle to pick the line. And really hard with the lack of acceleration on this tractor to stay actually in the spot to match the speed. The tractor works really well for us as a yard tractor, but cartage, not really its thing. So how much have we got in that other bin? Because I don't want to put it all in the mill. We've got 20,000 litres in there. How much have we put in so far? $16. Okay. So we might keep the 20,000 in there and go ahead and take the rest of this off and put it in the mill. And that'll be about 1/3 to 2/3, which is kind of the ratio I'm going for. And while you're thinking about that, we could duck over to the store and pick up our which way are you? We can turn our triggers off now too. Excellent, 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 excellent. I did get a minute to weed our crops there because that needed to be done. Now I'm thinking this is a, whoops, there's a bale there. We should really move that. So if I put you over here, we'll need the big tractor, or the bigger tractor. G'day Cranky, welcome along. Great to have you. We just about finished our corn harvest, which is good news. What have I done with okay, brain fade. Where have I put the big tractor? Right there. I knew it was around here somewhere. I'm doing very well. And Scooter and John are in chat. Possibly Tanner also lurking in the background there. John's just solved a little problem I was having with the grist mill, which we are now successfully able to spawn into. Works much better, as we discovered, if you remember to open it. Now, if we unfold you, and turn you on, and put you down and turn you on. We've got enough horsepower to do this. Yes, we have. There we go. That does the trick. One pass grass collection is what we want to see. Why is that not looking? That's all right. Probably just about time to go and empty the harvester. Yep, there we go. 80% warning. He's going to turn around because he's going to be going the wrong way anyway. And this cut will give us plenty for the sheep to eat. Top them up until the new year. Probably should get some additive for this pickup wagon too at some point. Now that we're not flush with funds, but we're keeping our head above water. I stood at it and I think it was the R key for me. R key, oh, it might actually be mouse activated. Let's just duck up there. Come on. Yeah, there you go. It's mouse activated for me. Just the left mouse. You just got to click on it, which is why it didn't come up in the vehicle when I drove over it with the tractor. Let's go and empty the combine. Now it feels like we're being moderately productive. I mean, we have got the corn off, so that's pretty good. You're not going to be in anybody's way. No. Go back to collecting grass. Now I'll have to move them because they're on the road. I do quite like picking up the grass this way. Feels efficient just with the smallish rower on the front. Channeling it into the pickup on the forage wagon. Works pretty well. Tidies everything up at a fairly reasonable clip. Shadows are getting a bit long. Not so good for tight fields because the trailer turns inside. But for medium and large fields, it works really well when you're not turning very much. Let's get that little lump I can see there. $49,000. So we're going to get the whole lot in the trailer, which is a pleasant bonus. So spoiler alert for next week's stream on the Oaks. The I mentioned earlier that I finished the ploughing contract so that we have different work to do in next week's stream. And I just thought on a whim I'll check the sales, vehicle sales, because, you know, collected 36 odd thousand from that ploughing contract. And lo and behold, in that shop was a forage wagon. And of comfortable scale, and we could afford it for the cash we had in the bank, and it was very much, well, okay, that fits the storyline, we'll buy it. We might not have a tractor necessarily big enough to run it properly, but given that the next streams was always going to be about cutting the grass in the field, getting a cut off it before Christmas and getting our bunker going, the timing was great. But of course it ate all of our funds because it's bigger than we probably would have bought, but it was one of those things you couldn't pass by. So when we get to Monday's stream, we'll be in overdraft with the bank manager screaming at us. So we'll need to deal with that. But at least we have a forage wagon. Okay, harvester thinks he's done. We're almost done here. Let's leave you for a sec. The harvest is the priority task. Welcome along, whoever's popped in. Great to have you here. Yeah. That's right. I mean, I could have resisted. I could have not looked and may have missed it completely. But I just thought, you know what? We've got a huge grass field to. You get into the bunker, we don't have any, we could bale it, but that doesn't help the purpose of getting it in the bunker. So, and the kids are getting involved with the farm. It's the sort of thing they'd be saying, no, Dad, if we're gonna do this properly, we're gonna need this, we'll make it work. And they can make it work. They've got the means. There's plenty of contracts available around the district, so they just have to keep going for it. It's how successful businesses are made. But that's what I was alluding to before when I was looking for suggestions of typical farm life events that potential are positive and negative, but that can get in the way of what you plan to do because the situation intervenes. And I'm keen to sort of experiment with a way to introduce some of those to stream rather than, I mean, it's okay when something breaks and it doesn't work the way I wanted, but you know, have a bit of a random element so that it doesn't feel so scripted. A situation comes up that you have to deal with, you know, sick animals that need transporting somewhere, or yes, you do. The other side of that saying, I think, is your first loss is always the smallest. So there's a fair amount of knowing when to stop speculating, when you're out of your league. Okay, that would appear to be the corn harvest in. So that is the grain harvest complete for the year. Which means we can give the equipment a bit of a wash and a service. And that'll be done. We'll just pick up the rest of that grass and we can probably flow across into the next game day. Wash that in a minute. Let it idle to cool. Around we go. So I'll do a little bit of maintenance and cleaning on the harvester, I think, is the order of business. We'll put this grass straight in the sheep pen. It won't take all of it. Whatever we've got left can go in our barn. Trim that corner off this. Get that little pile there. We can put the red trailer's contents in the grist mill and get the grist mill started so that by the morning we'll have some corn grist to feed the pigs. I think the pigs should have enough food to get to morning. And it'll be interesting to check and see whether, because we've got, oh, that was the other thing I did between episodes. So you might remember last time we had that explosion in the pig population, which took us into an overstocking situation. So sold down the piglets to get us back to 216, I think we've got in there out of a 217 capacity. So they should return to full health, which then may mean that the older ones are ready to sell off for a profit. Pick you up. And turn you off. And let's fold you up. Just put you in the brass work section. Let's duck up and drop this in the cow pen. Oh, in the cow pen, in the sheep pasture. I reckon I've got enough clearance in the barn there, in the shelter there, to get the harvester into the service trailer. We'll look in a second. I don't think we've tried that before. If not, we can always pull it out. 70,000 litres of conditioned grass gets pretty heavy. And this tractor needs maintaining again. Feels very much like one of those forever jobs. As in, I'm forever doing it. Off the tracks. A few little sheepers there now. Hello, why have you not given me a trigger? Probably because you're not on the right implement. Yeah, I use, as a matter of kind of my favorite mods, is it down here? It's in this one, I think. No, that's auto start. I use the mod which allows you to slow it down, so the intervals at 75 and the cost is half, just to try and make it what I would consider be. So that looks like it's full, a bit more realistic. And I don't repaint vehicles. I actually like them when they look like they've been used. It seems, kind of feels more immersive. Particularly the older equipment. So the idea of having a, brand spanking new showroom finish on a tractor that's supposed to be 45 years old. Yes, Jason, that does make that difficult. Sorry about that. So corn grist is not what we're looking at. We're looking at the sheep, which we have just fed. And so they've got plenty of food, all the food groups, plenty of water. Wool comes progressively. And as you can see, we've been breeding in here gradually. So we got 9 last month, so we've got a few. Nothing gonna breed for a couple more months, but that's coming along. So overall, what's our stocking levels like? Because we don't want to get that overstocked. Oh, again, we can fit heaps in there. So we've got a long way to go there. I don't think we'll be putting 250 sheep in that pasture. That doesn't meet my criteria. So we took about half the grass. So we've definitely got enough conditioned grass to get us through into next year comfortably. What we will do, because I just remembered the other thing that I wanted to look at in this stream. I got distracted fixing the grain mill, or messing with the grain mill problem. That wasn't really a problem, just user error. I wanted to look at Production Revamp, the mod which I have added back in the hope that and it appears that it has, the update fixed the mod conflict issue that I encountered earlier. I always intended to have it on this map because of the number of productions that are in the greenhouse. So let's flick over there. And we can do part of it. The equipment washing and maintenance can wait for the minute. If we go across to yeah, I live that life, Scooter. It's really funny the number of times it goes in through the eyes, it processes in the back of the head, and then what comes out the fingers is completely different. It's just like, what are you doing? We just decided. So, Production Revamp. What I'm looking for. I thought Production Revamp had its own settings menu. Let's see. Precision farming, no. What I want to do, let's just, we'll review what I know, and then we'll go to the help text that is written in the mod. So Production Revamp allows you, amongst other things, to, let's start with simple things. You can hide all the productions that you're not using. So you're only got a list of all the things that you've got turned on. So right off the top, that's simple. Production Revamp only works on PC because it is an extensive script mod. It then allows you to set priority for distribution. So you can say it defaults to 10, which is the highest, to say, well, okay, all of these have got the same priority. Or you can say, actually, I don't ever want wheat to be distributed to my production. So I can lower the priority and I can actually deactivate it. So no other production will ever give me wheat in here. And there are a number of situations where that's really useful, particularly if you're using things like sugar beets, and sometimes you want them going to your BGA, and sometimes you don't. You want them going to your sugar mill. So let's just see. Okay, so you've got the same three options sorry, 4 options as you would expect there. So we want storing of grain grist. We want to be storing corn grain grist. And whilst we haven't got a lot in there yet, we do want, oh, and the other option it gives you is the ability to buy inputs. So if there's an input you're missing that you just want to source, you can purchase it. So in this particular case, we want to find the production. Where is it? And turn on corn grain grist. What happened there? Right. So Scooter's just said with production revamp storing, it actually stores all pallets instead of spawning them. Yes. Yeah, so it just adds that extra choice. I do like that option. I don't know. That was a really weird bug. So I activated it and then it took it out of it. It actually showed me the inverse list of all the stuff I wasn't running, which is cool. So what I've done a little bit here. No, I haven't. I thought I'd been through a couple and messed with priority. Oh, maybe I did it in them. Okay. So in the mulcher, here's a good example. So I've been through and said, I don't ever want to end up with straw, manure, or sugar beet or hay coming through the mulcher. The only products I want to use for compost are surplus conditioned grass, and that's a really low priority, and wood chips. And now if I go over to my from the barn where we're putting the conditioned grass, we can not distribute from there. Okay, because it'll only distribute hay. I can turn my conditioned grass into hay. I can get my conditioned grass back out, but I can't distribute out of there. Okay, that's a learning for me. But it does have water storage, and it would have, and that was one of the things that was tangling up our water distributor. So I've been able to deactivate the water storage in here so that our water storage over here isn't distributing these products, but when it distributes water, that's going only to the greenhouses. So that efficiency of that distribution process is improved. So the bottom line is you get a bunch of choices that enable you to make your operation a little bit simpler. Now, if I change screens for a second and find... I'll be right back with you in just a second. Production revamp, where is it? What happened there? That's the one we want. Now if we go to there, what I wanted to just look at was the script here that comes with the mod. So if you haven't seen this before, this is the mod assistant. And what it allows you to do is look at the text with the mod, and it just enables us to run through what the features are. So I'm not going to read it to you. There's a bunch of stuff about making the recipes easier to read. Priority system, priority 1 is the most important. Okay, priority 10 is the least. So I've got the priority system set up backwards. The production set to storage, it doesn't automatically spawn pallets, which is what Scooter was just talking about. Any production with a pallet spawner can also give you bales, so that's potentially useful. It means we can get bales back out of our barn now. G'day, Argsy. How are you? Welcome along. We're just having a bit of a look at 10 is the default. I just assumed it defaulted to them all on the largest, John. We're just having a look at Production Revamp quickly. You can sort productions alphabetically and filter by active and inactive. So if we go back, okay, and there's other features if the mod's actually linked to the production itself, and I don't know that we've got any of those. So let's transition across there and go to here. So you can see the Y. So the grist mill works in parallel, whereas the greenhouses are shared. That's what the two lines in the Y. That just means that the cycle on a shared production, the cycles are split between however many you've got active, whereas in parallel they all get the same number. So in other words, the throughput on the grist mills a bit unrealistic. Same with the farm supplies. All the greenhouses are parallel, and the distributor, I shared the greenhouses, sorry, and the distributor's parallel. And Cranky, looks like you got a present from Argsy. Good stuff. So that, in a nutshell, I'll have to go through and fix all these priority 10s, given I got them the wrong way around. But that looks like the first part of what Production Revamp might do for us. Let's duck up here and see if I can maintain this harvester here. I can never remember the aim to open it up. Let's see, can we just squeeze under there enough to get into the service bay? Yes, we can. And let's have a look. Oh, it's not too bad. $3.61 on the harvester and $8 on the header, so that'll work. Seeing Args is here, it's only appropriate that we wash the harvester, having just finished getting the corn in. We've also got to take that other trailer loads up to drop in the grain mill now that we've turned it on. There you go, Argsy, just for you. Not really true, we were planning on doing that before you even walked in. You can roll back the footage. Hey, people latch on to little things. I'm just waiting to get his fertilizer and spread some of that good New Zealand guano around. Right. Put that away. Now, is that header going to go through that gap? Nope. That'd be too easy. Alright. Sounds like he just needs to brush up on his German, Cranky, and also deal with the... Well, we're not going to pass you the first time just on principle. Oh, stop. Just want to get you in and around that corner. Come on. Get. Oh, well, that's good. I figured if I ever have a flash of inspiration and manage to come up with a mod that I can put on, at least I can do that bit, because my sister is fluent in German. She's amongst other languages, but she's a 30-year German teacher and a qualified interpreter, so I quite look forward to getting into a discussion about unsuitable German translations, given that she'll be doing them. But that'll be fun. I look forward to seeing your mod, Argsy. Oh, I'm sure Joss could help you out if you got stuck. Okay, get that one done. Ooh. I will, I'll dig something up for you, Argsy. Not being a farmer, I don't know off the top of my head. But I will sort something out. Actually, Jason Rowe, if he's still there in the background, I might be able to point us in the right direction. Yes. Shy Wizard was a considerable part of me figuring out how to repair the quirks in this map, and along with Farmer Bob. So Jason's in central New South Wales, Argsy, and should be a good source of info on Burt brands. Let's just take this up and put it in that. If I can drive up the hill with this on. Farmer Bob's map making tutorials are quite helpful, even if the bit that really makes me smile with Farmer Bob stuff is every now and then he'll do something and then he'll just like, because I have no idea why that happened, you know, don't know why it works like that. He is one out of the box, but his stuff's really useful. So and he's got a reasonable amount of content there now. I'm just waiting for you now. I reckon your next project, Stargsy, will be a cinematic introduction to Giants Editor. That'd get a few laughs and more than a couple of views, I would have thought. In fact, you could give all of the Giants dev tools the Argsy cinematic treatment. That would be quite entertaining. Rightio. Well, let's just check the pigs to make sure I'm not doing them a disservice again. So they've got plenty of food, and as you can see, we're right at the limits, but we're back down under the restocking level, so under the overstocking level. I'm pretty sure it's 216 out of 217. Let's just duck over here and check. Yeah, 215 out of 216. There you go. So let's run up to the house. Yeah, it's good you mentioned that, Jace. I was going to suggest my first port of call would have been to look at the Incitec website and just see what brands they're spruiking. The other place, West, is Incitec West Farmers? You'd have to go to the West Farmers website. I just can't remember which subsidiary they bought. But that would give you a heap. And then the other place that'd be really good is to just look at Elders, the actual purchase side. Elders stock and station agents, and that'll have it's probably got a phone order catalog or a internet order catalog that will give you all the pictures you'd ever want. Would be my guess. We want to wake up at 8 because it's this time of year. Oh yeah, well, yeah, I can't remember if they elders finance absolutely, and they come in and out of favor in different areas. They might, I think they still trade as elders. Whether it's actually owned by elders is a whole different story. It was Elders IXL there for a long time, but I don't think it is anymore. Okay, so we're in the morning. What did our pigs do? Let's jump down the pig pen. So, oh, that's the sheep pen. We've got a little bit of cloth, so that's looking good for next year. Still 215 is 216, and we've got some food. Nutrient took over Landmark. Okay. So if we go and look at our situation here, so puberty, so 2 months till they go, 3 months till they go. So we're going to, and you can see here we've got some that are sitting up at $1,000. So I'm thinking what we might do in the next stream is sell those pigs that are at 1,000, because we're going to go again into an overstock situation the following month when they breed. So at least we'll get the $1,000 ahead. That'll be 10 grand. It'll be pretty handy. And then we will be good to go. Our sheep, our cows are fine. They need some moisture food and some power food. That's okay. We can deal with that in the next stream. So I think, folks, we're 20 after the hour. I'm guessing Argsy's on his lunch break, so he's in fine form. But I'm feeling a bit dry. I need a cup of tea. So thank you very much for joining today. It's great to have you in. We'll be back next week at the Oaks, Monday morning for the US and Europe, Monday evening for Aussie watchers, and the Oaks on Monday. So normal programming next week. See you, everyone. Thanks for watching.